Hello everyone and welcome back to Final Project Development Diary. Can't remember which part it is because I haven't actually uploaded all the previous parts yet. I do believe I've just uploaded part 3 today, and now I'm going to take you through what I've done since actually finishing, not finishing, since, well, no, the last bits. There's a couple more parts I've actually recorded, which is the final tension, I do believe, and finishing off Tension 2 and all the guitars and things like that, which I still have yet to upload. But as of now, it's pretty much almost all finished. So after one more little announcement note, I don't know, it's not an announcement. Shh, what am I talking about? But I am using my built-in microphone right now, so it's not going to. The audio is going to be, well, my voice is going to be a little bit less quality, I guess, than usual, what you're used to, because this is just done on the fly. Kind of felt like doing something productive with my time before I wind down for the day. So I'm sorry I haven't uploaded videos recently, I guess, because it's been about a week or two since I've actually last uploaded, as of today. But when this actually comes out, there's going to be quite a few uploads because I'm really behind. But anyways, what I'm going to do is just take you through how I've mixed this, and I'm probably going to do a bit of a better master on the fly. And then, actually, is this mixed? I'm pretty sure I did mix it a little bit when I was in my Arabic lesson in the break. But anyways, I'm just going to take you through this, mix it slightly, do a very quick master, and then put it into Audacity and Fmod and make it adaptive and show you how it's all done there. And then that'll probably be what I send off to Blitz Game Studios. And also, I actually need to make this into a proper OST. I want to make this so it's not just 3 tensions, I want to make it so it does flow like a proper song slash OST should. So basically, I'm going to not move my mouse around pointlessly now. It's just something for me to look at. And let's start with the piano. Now let's listen. Good, that's coming through. Piano, basically what I've done is give it a bit of a EQ. And as you can see from the analyzer, I didn't EQ the fundamental because it's a bit low, and I just boosted around the 500 mark because it's an acoustic instrument. The synthesizer basically it's just basically what I've added is an EQ to take up the top end. It doesn't really need that much processing. Same with these synthesizers. This just needed a bit of an echo because they do sound pretty good already. I don't really need much processing done on this. Let's just go with something of interest. Of course, I've done that in part 2, I believe. The compression and things, just to make that sit a little better. I've got a reverb bust into it, Space Designer. Let's go to the noise. The noise is actually quite interesting. It's just quite like it. It's got a nice snare, kind of under snare. You know when you put a microphone underneath a snare drum, you're literally getting the snare and not the boom. It kind of sounds like that. The reverb and the echo is quite nice. But I've just basically been panning, making it spread out. Although there's not really much panning on these. Is anything panned? Yes. See, I've done a bit of panning, just a tiny bit of mixing. So let's continue down these drums. Left. What's on these drums? Okay, that's the hi-hat. So let's just rename that hats. Left hand, right, and the snare. We want that slightly there. Actually, let's have the snare slightly to the right. Okay, I don't like that in tension 1, so I'm going to mute this bit. And I don't like how loud that is. Is this tension 2? No, this is tension 1. Okay, so let's automate the volume. I don't know why that acoustic kick's so loud. Let's turn it down. Okay, that's much better. Yeah, that is much better. Don't know what I was thinking when I done that. That's weird. The hats are fine. The hi hats and the overall drum level is fine. Okay, that's good. What else? These toms. Okay, I like how forward they are, but it is clipping. That's digitally clipping, so let's get my compressor. And I'm just using it to limit, so we'll need to get a peak. Set the threshold, that's 0, so we'll set it at about minus, let's put it at minus 10.5-ish. Set the tact quite quick. Set the ratio to fairly light. Release fairly long. Very soft knee all the way to the right. With no water gain because I hate that. And hopefully, let's undo this. It will just gradually compress and not clip. Maybe I can back off the compressor a little. Okay, that doesn't seem to be clipping now, which is good. So if I take this off, let's watch it again. See, it clips right there. But if I have it on, and it's a very light compression, it's only ratio 1:3. Then it doesn't clip, which is good because I don't want to limit it. If you limit it, basically when it hits that high point, you're basically cutting off the rest. You're just basically chopping off its head. So you're losing that dynamic range. And with this, I'm not keeping all of it, but I'm keeping most of it. Like I'm just squashing the highs slightly, just really lightly, just to bring down that level. It's like riding the fader when you're doing it really light. So that's what I've just done there, and that stopped it from clipping and kept most of the dynamic range, and it's not distorted, which is nice. So that's tension 1 next, I guess. Very quickly, just going over what it is, because it's been a while since I've done it. Tension 2. Okay, I have a spreader, which is spreading the highs to the left and the lows to the right, I think, but I don't like that. Let's try it again without it. I don't like that very much. Let's try light. Oops. I guess that'll do. I just wanted it to be a bit wider, but it's already quite wide. Let's make it a little wider. This is a great plugin, by the way. I just don't like how the highs are on the right. That's a little better. And let's get the highs back in a little as well. Actually, let's just take that off completely. Actually, there's hardly any frequency set, so let's dip it on. Okay, that's a lot better. Okay, that is, yeah, I like that. It's a lot better. The strings, let's listen. Yeah, I think they're fine where they are. And the guitars have also been mixed fine. And the brass is fine. Okay, let's go on to tension 3. Okay, it's that kick. Let's bring the kick up. I quite like that. It's going boom. It's got the boom of the tom kind of orchestral thing, and then it's got the attack of this kick here, which is quite nice. Do I prefer it with or without the snare? I kind of like it better without the snare, to be honest, or maybe if it wasn't as often. So let's take this loop down, and then we shall edit this. Let's take it off mute first. I'm going to event. Okay, let's take that off and just have it every so. You know, every so. Okay, although that's going to go twice in a row, so let's just see how it sounds right there. Yeah, I quite like that, having that there. I like that. If it's there, that means it's after it's going in when there's a new change, I think. Yeah, every 2 new changes it's kind of got that going on, so I quite like, let's keep that there. Everything else seems fine. I have mixed this slightly and I really like these strings. Although they're not really statico. Well, let's see. They're arcos. Let's see what other kind of. Let's try orchestral strings. Violins. 1 statico. No, that does sound dodgy. Now I know why I had the arco. Alright then. So basically, now what I'm gonna do is just master it slightly. So what I have, I think I've set up. Yeah. So what I've done is I've set up this maximizer just as a limiter, and now. Yeah, now what I'm going to do is basically make it louder until the level is becoming about average with, just until the highs become, you know, high, I guess. I'm just squashing it slightly. I'm not going to squash it completely because I need dynamic range, and that's already quite loud, so I don't have to compress it that much. So let's just lower this a little as I'm playing it, and you can see what I'm doing. But usually that's last. So first, I don't know why I'm doing this. Let's move that there, and let's look at the analyzer. Okay, I can already see many problems with this. The spread is fine. All this anti-phase here is just reverb going on. But here is where I can see problems. First, every time I do this, every time I do some mastering, I always do this. Let's move that to the hip. That's good. No, that much. That'll do 30 dB enough to. That's fine. These frequencies we cannot hear, and to be honest, most speakers cannot produce. So I'm going to save the energy of the speaker, just get rid of it. It's a subconscious thing more than anything, but it does make a slight tiny difference getting rid of those. And if you'll see on the analyzer, looking at the frequency spectrum, or the frequency domain here, it's instantly dipped it down. So let's do a clear. And you can see the level there. Let's see, EQs do work. And let's just look at these dips here. So we've got some problem areas around here that it is quite spiky. We want to smooth this out so it smooths down. So let's look at these. Let's just carry on. Okay, so let's just try and get all of these with one little PQ thing. So it starts at 4K. Let's just move this to 4000 and just move this down. It's gonna sound crap. See, that's what happens when you try and take it all in one fell swoop. It just doesn't work. So let's take this out. Shung 0. And now we've got a problem area here. Let's just take this average here. It is about what did I say? I can't actually see what it says. Oops. So 11,000. We've got one at 14,300. We've got one at 9,900, and we've got this area here. This is going to take a lot of proper mastering, which I really don't have time for at the moment. So I'm just going to take care of these main points here. So 14,000. Okay, actually no, we can't have that, so this one. Take it down about 15 dB. This one 10. Oops. Take it down and lower the Q. We want a really tight kind of spot there. So let's see what difference that's made. Okay, it's definitely helped. It's got rid of the peaks and it's nice and flat there. And we've got these two peaks here. If we can just bring these two peaks down, it'll be alright. So we got a peak at 9,000. No. I've already kind of took care of that one. So let's just increase this and then move this down again. Okay, we've got a peak at 6. Let's try 6,000. Down we go. And down this goes. 6,400. Okay, I'm not saying this is perfect, but definitely has helped this, although the bass is quite high, so let's take this, just take it down a tad. Okay, I've seen quite a big dip, well, a little dip in 1000. I want to even out a bit, but it's just basically as the song goes on, you need to find an average, and you need to make sure it's kind of nice and smooth at the end. And there's always going to be problems and so on. But anyways, moving on to the next bit. Actually, yeah, I don't need to do that just yet. Moving on to the next thing. There's not really. I'm in a hurry, so let's just add a stereo imager. There's a free one I did have somewhere right there. Right then, this basically increases the stereo width, so I'm just going to quickly add a bit of stereo to it, just make it a little bit wider. Check this analyzer. Okay, it's made this wider basically. It's just increased this out a tiny bit, and you can probably hear it. It's not made that much of a difference, to be honest, but it's there. I like knowing it's there. Alrighty then, I don't really need to use a multi-band compressor, so let's just use the L2, and then that'll be the end of it. So I've set the output ceiling to minus 0.2, and a lot of tracks are mastered wrong. Actually, I don't want this dither here. Just turn this off. Damn it. There we go. So turn that off. Basically, a lot of tracks are mastered at 0 or 0 minus 0.1. You don't want to do that because most things, well, some things, it's not consistent with CD players or some things like that read CDs. So if something is hitting at 0.1 or 0, that might still register as a clip and distort. But if you might put it at minus 0.2, then it's a little bit safer, I believe, anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play this and lower the threshold, and you're going to be able to hear the level rise, and I'm not going to make it rise so much as so it compresses. I'm just going to make it louder. So let's just press play, and I'll show you what I'm doing. Okay, that's fine right there. Let's have a look. Okay then, so it's attenuating, which means it's slightly compressing, and that's fine. Slightly compressing is fine. I'm just going to take this last free plugin, which is a dynamic range meter. Okay, that's fine. That is really good. The dynamic range is on average 10, maybe 11, and that's really good. I know the correlation is a bit skew-whiff, so let's take my imager and take it down. There, that's much better. The correlation basically means if it's all the way to the right, it's mono. That means the left and right channels are exactly the same and they're in phase. If it's all the way to, once you get to this point here, it means they're going out of phase, they're not the same. It's just basically mono, average wideness, you want it to be around here. Very wide and too wide, you get into some problems. So if you in video games though, it'll, like I'm going to do later in a audio comparison and analysing it and stuff like that, a lot of the game audio is in the -1 correlation because it's got a 3D environment. There's things behind you, there's things in front of you. You're trying to see all and hear all these things that just aren't there. So it goes into negative correlation to try and mimic a surround sound sort of thing if you're using a stereo playback system. But anyway, that's a basic master. So I've spent quite some time on it already. So what I'm going to do now is just bounce everything down, and then I'm going to import it into Audacity.